we at Manchester United, we were going to win every game. And similarly with Wayne, he had an issues with Wayne, and we would have big discussions about Ronaldo because there was rumours around. We always felt that he would move probably to Madrid at some stage. 80 million payable up front in our bank account.
How close were we to getting Ronaldinho?
I didn't get a good vibe. If Barcelona hadn't been there, we'd have got them. Dave Brailsford was doing an audit at the moment with Jean-Claude Blanc. Brailsford has shown, albeit slightly different sports, that he's a winner as well.
Mr. Woodward.
And I was available, but I think he wanted to plough his own furrow.
It's a 5 with 5, and you already know this.
You spoke about players exiting, Roy Keane, David Beckham. Some of the players coming in, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, how did that go about, and what impression did he give you when he walked through those doors?
I think we never really heard of him, had we? Because we played against Sporting, and he came in and took everyone by storm in that friendly, and we went and got him, and then we developed a very good. In the first game came on against Bolton, his dreadlocks and his teeth, and you could see that there. And I think again Rio will see him, but I think he was very. From the off, and speaking to his agent George Mendes, who looked after him for many years, they were so sort of, how should we put it? He was so motivated to be one of the best and to be up there, and I think he was very well managed. So I think for us to have him was brilliant, and what he did. And after the first season, we in 2004 got a cup final, met George Mendes, we gave him another contract, and George was a very good agent for him. I felt, or we felt, managed him correctly, and we always felt that he would move probably to Madrid at some stage, and that was. We're trying to push out as long as possible. But I think his whole attitude and what he did for the club was phenomenal.
How did that come about? Because I remember I was one of the players that was always talking to him about staying. I'm hearing you're looking to you might be going and whatnot. Yeah. Come on, man, you got to stay. And he ends up kind of almost. Well, you tell me how it happened in terms of staying that extra year.
Yeah, but I think that we're going back. I remember in Moscow getting the questions on the outside the hotel of that party you mentioned. Were a lot of them about Ronaldo because there was rumours around, and so, and as I say, I think Carlos, obviously being with Portuguese etc., thought he would go at some point, and we said it was a bit of a shock when there was, he was how should we put it, indicating he might like to go that summer, and we said we can't have that. So, in a nutshell, we agreed that. He would sign a new contract with us, but there would be an exit clause, the following year.
If they hit a certain number.
They had to hit the number, 80 million payable up front in our bank account.
Ooh,
and which was a record at the time. And that was that. So, and they had a certain period after the end of the next season in which to exercise that option. And then, obviously, I remember in Rome, we unfortunately lost to another party, but it wasn't good. We lost to Barcelona, and speaking to George and Mendes and his legal advisors, Ronaldo's legal advisors, it was clear they were going to exercise it. And then,
hindsight on that, how much did we mug ourselves off at 80 million?
Well, yeah, hindsight's very good, yeah, but at the time it was very good. But you're exactly right. I agree with everything. But at the time it was great. It was the time. Yeah.
But to get 80 million up front, that's correct. The key. Normally, what happens? It normally instalments, over 4 or 5 years,
over the duration of the contract. So, look, it's he was a brilliant player, and we didn't want to lose him. But I think you need to understand, and again, that if we didn't do something like that, then he would have been upset. He would exit, and it was difficult. And I think no one could argue with what he did on the pitch for that whole last season.
I heard a rumour, Mr. Gill. I'd like the truth, please.
Yeah.
In 2012, did you go and try and negotiate for Ronaldo to come back?
No.
Boo.
He's got a lot of these things, he says.
No.
See?
And we said, so going back to your point about players, and Alex and his, and the team, Rennie or Mick, and analysing where we'd fallen short that year, a number of goals. So we set out to get Mr. Van Persie.
Ah, yes.
And that was it. And so we went out and got him that summer, and lo and behold, we Julie scored 30 odd goals and won the league.
Was that difficult?
Yeah.
What was difficult about it?
Because Arsenal dealing with Arsenal wasn't too bad. Dealing with Ivan Gazidis and things like that, and the player wanted to come and his agent. So I think that was all okay. But Arsenal, clearly,
he knew what he was losing, didn't he?
Knew what he was losing.
For 25.
And he had they clearly now they get on well, but at the time when they were adversaries, had a difficult relationship with Alex. But in the end, we got it over the line, and Alex spoke to Arsenal, and they sort of tweaked it a bit at the end to give them a bit more. And so it was difficult. But that's again, I think going back to your point, we can't be, clubs can't be seen to be just giving up their assets, easily without a bit of a fight and things like that. And he knew what he was losing, and we got a great goal scorer out of it.
How close were we to getting Ronaldinho? Because I know we got Ronaldo in the end, which was a great deal for us. But that summer, I remember speaking to the manager, walking out to training, and he just looked like there was a cloud over him. And he said, "I've just missed out on getting."
Kenyon's thing, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, but this is, I don't know, it's again the final thing, but to me, we were never that close.
No? Okay.
Well, you could assess it because we were there, and I went over to Paris when he was there. He met with his brother Roberto Assis, who was his agent, and this, that, and t'other. We discussed it. Then we met them. We being Peter and I met them at Manchester Airport, and we went through and did all the numbers. And they got agreement on the wages and this, that, and t'other, and what we pay the agent. And then Peter sort of went back to Old Trafford, and I said I looked after them, and took them to their flight and this, that, and t'other. And I didn't get a good vibe.
Was it? Oh.
No, because Barcelona were in there, and I'd done enough deals or seen them to know. It's like when you're buying something, they really want to come, they don't. You get something there, and I just felt that if Barcelona hadn't been there, we'd have got them. But we'd have got him. Sorry. But if Barcelona were there, and that was clearly his first choice, Brazilian going down to Barcelona was, with all due respect, notwithstanding the success of Manchester United, I think, that was his first choice. And if they haven't come up with the goods, we had all the deal done, the numbers were done. So I don't think it was anything that we did wrong. It was just that Barcelona came wrong. So to answer the question, we were close, but no cigar.
Was there any deals that you look at and go, that got away, man? That was one of the ones that I just close and.
Top ones.
Big ones that you think, well,
we didn't get all the players that we wanted, certainly.
Come on, Mr. Gill. Give me one name, Mr. Gill.
Give us a name.
We didn't get all
there must have been a big name that
Everyone's
you were trying to get.
Now, surely.
Exactly.
Give me a name.
I don't know. I'll let Fergie say the names there. It's quite amusing because not amusing, but I still had a sort of a small office at Old Trafford. I haven't got any more clearly, but after I left, and just because I used to go and then do some work with UEFA or whatever and use that, they up from the archives came all these files, and they were because every player that we were after, or any conversation I had, I'd do a file on him.
Oh, unbelievable!
So
have you got it here?
No, it's fantastic, and I've got it up there, and if I had a text from an agent, I'd note it down. So I got all the record of everything we got, and I looked at some of these players. I'd love to tell you what they were. It's really interesting conversations and things like that.
We can do that in the part 2 episode.
Okay. No, but I would do that. I have a record of every conversation, and that's what I did, because every agent who called me, I would always return their call, and on the basis that we may not be interested in the player then, but 2 years down the line or 4 years down the line, he may have a player, so he remembers how you dealt with them. So that was good. So some got away.
This was a big moment as well and I remember speaking to you about this in the summer. I was in Morocco, I'll never forget, and you called me about it to go and speak to him. Tevez.
Yeah.
And he went to City, obviously, and I think you was going to Rio. Can we speak to him and get hold of him? What happened there?
Well, Tevez, we had him for 2 years, and then we had the right to buy him for 25.5 million. And we exercised the option, to do that. But I think, you would again know it better than I. But the second season, whereas in the first season it was him, Wayne, and Cristiano up front. The second season we brought in Dimitar and things like that. So it was a bit more, perhaps he wasn't in the team as much, and this, that, and the other. So, and I think ultimately the people who controlled him, because he wasn't owned by a club, we weren't dealing with a club, it's the people we did the deal with to get him in for the 2 years, which was fully clear by the Premier League and FA. They basically got a lot more money by taking him to City. And so that was it. That became a financial thing for them. And I think if Carlos had been insistent on staying at Manchester United, then he could have stayed at Manchester United, because we said we were prepared to pay that money for him to stay. But ultimately, if he felt for whatever reason better opportunities at City or whatever, and then it wasn't going to work out, because the owners of his rights, so to speak, and it's not allowed anymore, but at the time it was, the owners of his rights, effectively almost doubled their money, I believe. So.
And you go to Rooney, and when he was looking at, there was rumours about him going to City and stuff. As the leader, the CEO, how do you navigate that situation?
Well, you have to do it with Alex, but how do you navigate it is basically to sit down with the agent and try and sort something out, and try to sort of make sure that he understands what he's got at Manchester United, how in terms of his wider role and wider possibilities, and work it out and try to come to a compromise, and show he's now the all-time leading goal scorer at Manchester United. All these things to try and work through. And sometimes players will say, well, what's happening, because we were perhaps in the doldrums, how are we going to build the team up? And you have to explain that,
I think that's what one of his main questions was, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. But, ultimately, things go in cycles in football. Hopefully for Manchester United, the cycle is going to be up now. But, everyone was on the same sheet. We all wanted to improve the team and get winning again. So he could see that and buckle down and do it well.